The rain hammered against the windows of the old Victorian house in Boston's Back Bay, where the Thompson family had gathered for what was supposed to be a triumphant night. I stood outside, drenched to the bone, my black coat clinging like a second skin, peering through the fog glass at the warm glow inside. There they were, my father, Richard Thompson, raising a toast with his favorite scotch, my brother, Alex, grinning like he'd just conquered the world, and his wife, Sophia, her laughter cutting through the air like a knife. They were celebrating the biggest deal in Thompson Media's history, a rebranding contract with Apex Financial that I'd poured my soul into. But I wasn't in there with them.
No.
I'd been cast out, banned from the family business I'd helped build from the ground up. And as I watched, a fire ignited in my chest, not the kind that warms you, but the one that burns everything down. My name is Emily Thompson. I'm 32, a digital marketing whiz who's always preferred data over drama. Growing up in that house,
Though.
drama was unavoidable. Thompson Media started as my dad's dream back in the 90s, a small ad agency he bootstrapped after quitting his corporate job. By the time I was a teenager, it had grown into a multi-million-dollar firm with clients across the East Coast. Family dinners weren't about school or friends, they were strategy sessions, where Dad would quiz us on ad campaigns and market trends. Alex, my older brother by 3 years, was the golden child. He had Dad's charm and Mom's, Eleanor's, unwavering optimism.
Me?
I was the quiet one, the analyst who crunched numbers and spotted trends no one else saw. Emily's got brains, but no bite, Dad would say, chuckling as if it were a compliment. It stung every time, but I swallowed it, thinking loyalty would pay off. Things shifted when Alex married Sophia. She was a PR specialist from a well-connected family in New York, all glossy hair and designer outfits. Mom adored her, seeing her as the perfect addition to our dynasty. At first, Sophia seemed harmless, helpful, even. But soon, the cracks appeared. She'd casually critique my reports in meetings, pointing out oversights that weren't there, while praising Alex's half-baked ideas. She'd book client lunches during my scheduled pitches, then act surprised when I couldn't make it.
Oh.
Emily, I thought family came first, she'd say with that pitying tilt of her head. Dad and Mom ate it up, dazzled by the high-profile contacts she brought in. Before long, she had a corner office, even though her contributions were mostly social media posts and vague advice. I tried to rise above it. I worked weekends, pulling all-nighters to deliver campaigns that boosted client revenues by double digits. But no matter how many wins I racked up, they went to Alex's tally. Team effort, Dad would say, clapping my brother on the back. It wore me down, but I stayed because Thompson Media was my world. I'd interned there in high school, learned the ropes from veteran employees who'd watched me grow up. Leaving felt like abandoning a part of myself. Then came the loan. It was a rainy Tuesday in April 2022. Alex cornered me in the break room after hours, his usual swagger replaced by desperation. I need 25 grand by end of week, he whispered, glancing over his shoulder. It's for a killer investment, could expand us into digital streaming ads. Dad can't know, it's a surprise. I hesitated. My savings were for a down payment on a condo. But family first, right? I wired the money that night, drawing up a quick IOU he signed with a flourish. 6 months. Tops. With interest, he promised. 6 months passed. At a family barbecue that summer, I mentioned it casually. Alex laughed it off. Come on,
Sis.
it's all in the pot. We're building an empire here. Sophia chimed in, her eyes gleaming. Besides, Emily, what are you saving for? No ring on that finger? No little ones running around. Mom steered the conversation to Alex's latest big idea, and Dad nodded along, oblivious or uncaring. Later, Sophia texted me from across the yard. "You'll never lead like Alex.
Just FYI.
In case you forget." She smiled as I read it, waving like we were best friends. That was the spark. I couldn't leave yet. Not without a plan. Instead, I poured my rage into something secret: Thompson Digital Solutions, my own boutique agency focusing on tech startups and eco-brands. I operated from my apartment, nights and weekends, picking clients that wouldn't overlap with a family firm. By early 2023, I had 2 remote freelancers and a steady stream of projects. I kept it hidden, knowing they'd mock it or try to swallow it whole. The Apex pitch changed everything. Apex Financial was shopping for a full digital overhaul, social media, SEO, the works. It was my wheelhouse. I spent months researching, building a deck that was airtight. The morning of the presentation, I walked into the conference room to find Alex rehearsing my slides, my name scrubbed from every page. "What's this?" I demanded, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. Dad looked up from his phone. "Alex is taking lead. Better fit." Sophia smiled sweetly. "Your notes were so helpful."
Eminencia.
"You can observe." I sat there, fuming, as Alex fumbled through my work. When the Apex VP asked about algorithm tweaks,
He blinked.
I jumped in, nailing it. After,
Dad pulled me aside.
"Don't upstage your brother again. He's the future here." That night, alone in my cramped office setup, tears came hot and fast. Then resolve. If they wouldn't see my value, I'd make them regret it. I ramped up Thompson Digital, patenting a custom analytics tool that drew in more clients. I even invested quietly in a couple of local spots, a craft brewery, and an indie bookstore, to diversify, all while keeping my day job just above water, avoiding the spotlight. The breaking point hit at the Thompson Family Gala in December 2023. The venue was a swanky hotel ballroom in downtown Boston, decked out in gold and evergreen. Over 100 guests, clients, staff, associates. I'd dressed up, feeling a rare spark of hope. Grandpa had died that spring, leaving me $60K in his will for Emily's independent ventures. It was validation I'd never gotten from the living. I planned to use it for office space. My team had grown to 5, and we needed room. Midway through, Alex tapped his glass for attention. Sophia beamed beside him in a sparkling gown. "What a year for Thompson Media," he boomed. "And big news, we're opening a branch in Chicago." Cheers erupted. I hadn't heard a whisper about it. Then his face turned grave. "But changes are needed. Emily's stepping away. Her recent work on the Harbor real estate campaign had major flaws." Sophia caught them in time.
Lies.
"That campaign was perfect," the client had raved. "Plus," he added, "Grandpa's gift will fund the expansion. It's what he'd want for the family legacy." The room spun. Mom avoided my eyes. Dad nodded sagely. Cousin Lisa, our family lawyer, looked appalled. I confronted Mom in the lobby later. "That money was for my business." She sighed. "Your hobby, dear? Alex needs it for real growth." I drove home shaking, vowing change. No more playing small. The next week, I met with attorney Carla Reyes, a no-nonsense litigator in her late 40s known for untangling family business messes. I spilled everything: the slights, the loan, the exclusion. She leaned back, tapping her pen. "Ever seen the full books?"
No.
That was Dad and Alex's territory.
"Let's dig," she said.
We filed for discovery, prepping a suit. What emerged was a nightmare. The $25K I'd loaned? funneled to cover Alex's losses at high-stakes online betting sites. Not investments. He'd siphoned over $250K from company funds, logged as consulting fees for phantom vendors. Sophia drew a fat paycheck as image strategist, but her expenses included luxury bags and spa retreats billed as client outreach. Dad had signed off on faked reports to the board. And Apex? Emails showed they'd demanded me back on their team, but Alex lied, saying I'd quit. Then botched their latest push. Armed with this, I needed leverage. The perfect setup, Thompson Media's victory bash for the Apex renewal on February 24th, 2024, at the Harborview Grand's opulent hall. 200 guests, industry heavyweights. Alex was set to gloat. I prepped like it was war, compiled dossiers, rehearsed my takedown, bought a sharp power suit. I also contacted Apex's CEO, Mr. Harlan Brooks, a shrewd 65-year-old with a reputation for fairness. We met at a nondescript diner outside the city. MS. Thompson, your strategies turned our online presence around. 35% engagement spike, he said over pie. When you vanished, it tanked. I confessed everything. Showed proof. He nodded slowly. The bash next week?
You're invited now.
I'll make sure of it. Sure enough, Dad called. Gruff. Be there. For the firm. The night arrived crisp and electric. The hall shimmered with crystal and soft jazz. I entered late, in a tailored emerald dress that screamed confidence. Heads turned. Mom's smile froze. Dad's jaw tightened. Alex paused his schmoozing. Sophia approached with venom veiled as warmth. Emily?
Didn't expect you.
Mr. Brooks insisted. I said clearly. He materialized beside me. Indeed. Emily's the brains behind our success. 42% growth from her campaigns. Sophia's facade cracked. We're a team. Really? I countered. After Alex announced my firing at the gala, murmurs spread. Dad tried to intervene. Private chat.
Ing.
I shook him off. Heading to the podium. An old colleague in AV gave me a knowing nod. Hooking up my laptop. The mic hummed. Good evening. I'm Emily Thompson, former VP at Thompson Media, though you'd never know from the credits.
Gasps.
Alex lunged, but Brooks blocked him. I clicked to the first slide, emails plotting my ouster despite Apex's pleas. I've uncovered fraud that threatens everyone here. Slide by slide. Bank transfers. Bogus invoices. Sophia's padded perks. The room hushed, then buzzed. Alex yelled fabricated, but it rang hollow. When I hit the inheritance diversion, cousin Lisa stood. Illegal. I witnessed the will. My voice cracked. I believed in family. But they've shown it's just a facade. Final reveal. I've reported to authorities.
Suing for my share.
And Thompson Digital Solutions? We've just landed Apex as our anchor client. Brooks took the mic. Emily's firm hits metrics we dream of: ethical, innovative. We're investing too. Applause mixed with chaos. Clients eyed me anew. Staff whispered support.
My family?
Isolated. Exposed. Mom tried to approach, but I turned. Justice first. The fallout hit like a nor'easter. By dawn, Thompson Media's shares dipped 18% on whispers of scandal. The board convened urgently, launching probes. Alex faced my $600K fraud suit. His deflections crumbled under evidence. Sophia's influencer empire tanked. Leaked messages cost her endorsements. Followers fleeing. Mom and Dad's marriage, fragile from Dad's obsessions and Mom's status chases, shattered. Separation papers filed by mid-March 2024.
Me?
Thompson Digital exploded. Apex's backing meant a sleek office in Boston's Seaport District. Staff doubling to 12. Ex-Thomson clients defected, praising my real expertise. The board begged me as interim CEO. I agreed short-term, demanding audits and ethics overhauls. But my heart was in my own venture. By April, I eyed expansion, ironically, to Chicago. Alex's failed dream. We opened there May 1st, 2024, in a modern loft overlooking the lake. My team of 30 buzzed with ideas, free from family toxins. Last saw Alex at the inheritance hearing. He looked broken, suit ill-fitting, eyes haunted. He'd taken a retail gig, far from exec suites. Dad emailed apologies. Saw your strength wrong. Mom griped about public shame, ignoring her role. Forgiveness?
Not yet.
Wounds linger. In the glow, personal life bloomed. My team became family, loyal, collaborative. At a Chicago conference that June, I met Ryan Keller, a venture capitalist in green tech. Our panel chat led to drinks, then deep talks on integrity in business. When I shared my saga, he toasted to rising from ashes. It felt right, authentic connection. No strings. Settling into Chicago brought clarity. The new office hummed with creativity, open spaces, whiteboards scrawled with bold campaigns. We specialized in sustainable brands, drawing clients tired of corporate sleaze. Revenue hit $2.5 million annually. Satisfaction scores off the charts. Reflecting on the journey, the slow build of resentment had been torturous. Those family dinners where my ideas were dismissed. The quiet nights doubting myself. But the explosion at the bash? Cathartic. It wasn't just revenge, it was reclamation. Alex's trial wrapped in July. Guilty on embezzlement, probation, restitution. He vanished from circles. A cautionary tale. Sophia divorced him, fleeing to LA for a fresh start. Her feeds now ghost towns. Dad retired. Mom in therapy, small steps. But their outreach felt genuine sometimes. I responded sparingly, boundaries firm. Ryan and I grew closer. Walks along the river. Debates on ethics. He invested in my firm, not as favor, but belief. You're the real deal, he said. Romance sparked slowly, built on trust I'd long lacked. One evening, overlooking the city from my penthouse balcony, bought with my earnings, I felt peace. The family I'd been born into had tried to dim my light, but I'd forged my own, brighter. Years on, Thomson Digital thrives nationwide, a beacon for ethical marketing. I've mentored young women sidelined in family firms, sharing my story at talks. Blood doesn't define worth, I say. Build your empire. Alex reached out once. Broken. Sorry.
Eminência.
Jealousy blinded me. I forgave. From afar, no reunion. But closure. Dad passed in 2025. His final letter praised my true legacy. Mom and I lunch occasionally, strained, but healing. With Ryan, we married in a quiet ceremony by the lake. Our chosen family there. Our home buzzes with laughter. Plans for kids who'll know value beyond names. Looking back, the banishment wasn't the end. It was freedom. Sometimes, betrayal births strength. What if your family undervalues you? Do you fade? Or rise? I chose rise, and redefined success on my terms. They thought they'd break me. Instead, I broke free.